Hello, everybody, and welcome to Play Some Video Games, the only gaming podcast that the digital copy that goes along with your purchase included is actually what you paid for. It is I, your host, Kevin. Thank you for joining us each and every week and spending just a little bit of your precious time with us, with me, this evening in the hot seat. Mr. Jason, how are we doing, sir?
I'm good. I just want to say, though, Sean Capri is going to come after you for stealing his intro gag.
Oh, did I?
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
I apologize in advance, Sean. I didn't know. I wasn't aware.
Yep. Now you do.
Lawsuit. That's right. We used the Flux the Post theme song last week.
That's true.
Stole Sean's bit this week. It's all good. It's a hybrid.
Yeah, you're going to get a call for the royalties on that. So
I told you, Donnie's responsible for mailing out the check. If it
this episode, you said this episod's going to be shorter due to storage. It's going to really be shorter due to litigation because the lawyer's tied up and this whole – it's a mess now.
I don't want to mess with the Flux the lawyers. They're the worst.
It's true.
They're like the guys you get from calling like 1-800-LAW on TV and stuff.
That or those guys that were in the hell level of Earthworm Jim.
Nice callback.
Hey,
with us as well, Mr. Nathan. How we doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm all right. Trying to make sure that I am fighting off this cold or whatever I have here. So if I sound funny, it's not Kevin distorting the audio. It's legit. It's me.
Yeah. No voices tonight, or if they are, they'll be a little off.
It'll be like Steve Urkel voices. Did I do it?
So yeah, we're back again, ready to talk some news of the week. But before we get to that, let's check in and see what we've been up to, what we've been playing. I'll let Jason go first.
I've only played one thing, really. Well, I'm sure I played ARMS a little bit here and there, but it was tough because there's definitely a little drought up until Friday when Splatoon 2 came out. And I was so close to just buying an indie or something cheap to get me through. And I was like, no, you can do this. Just let it go. Let it ride. And I did. I just kicked it to the curb, and then Splatoon 2 came out on Friday, and I've played the bejesus of that over the weekend. So,
hey, what level are you on already? I know you're higher than me. You've had more time.
I think I'm level 12, maybe 13. I don't know. I was playing ranked mode earlier today, and you don't really level up quite as fast in that mode. And I played a crap ton of Salmon Run last night as well.
Salmon Run's fun. I like that. So I played that as well, but I know, Nathan, you didn't pick up Splatoon, right?
I did not, and I have a question. What is the level cap?
I am not certain. I know when the first game came out, I want to say it was around, wasn't it 30 or 40 at first?
30
and then they raised it, I know, with one of the DLC releases. They raised it, so I don't know what it is.
Okay, so I was just trying to put in context, like 12, is that high, is that low, is that middle?
Yeah, and so for instance, the most popular mode is Turf War, and by winning a match, you get a bonus for inking so much turf. You get a bonus for winning. Usually, I want to say you get like maybe around 600, I think, points per victory, and then depending on your freshness rating, which is based on like your win streaks, you can get a little bonus.
Freshness is a win streak.
Well, when you're talking about seafood, you want to be fresh.
You want to be fresh.
Okay.
Just like Kevin's look, you got to be fresh, man.
Yeah. Level cap appears to be at 30 as of right now in Splatoon 2.
Okay. So I have never played Splatoon in the Wii U, and I'll be honest, I hear great things about it from people that talk about it. Obviously, I've seen in the Discords and people chatting online, having fun. First question, is this multiplayer only?
No, there is a single player component. It's definitely not considered the strong suit of the game. It's definitely not as full-fledged, I would say, as the multiplayer, but it does have a single player storyline. I have not played this new one. I'm saving that for when I'm going on vacation, a little bit over a week when I don't have Wi-Fi. I have been told, though, it is better than what we saw in the original game. But there is a single player campaign. I think I've heard it's somewhere like around maybe 7 or 8 hours.
But it seems about right. I've already beaten the first boss. I'm not sure how many bosses are in there, but I played it a little bit. The first game had a single player. It just wasn't that fleshed out or that good. And I think this one's adding more of a story.
Like, is it a strung together like levels of the multiplayer game where you just have to fight against AI, or is there actually a story going on? What's actually happening here?
There is a story going on, and what you do, it's basically like a platformer level, similar to like what you'd see in like Mario 64 kind of thing, where like you're going from point A to point B, and you got to get through the level, and you're picking up collectibles along the way. After you do like 3 or 4 of those stages, you then fight the boss stage, which is just a battle with the boss, and then you move on to the next stage. But there is a story intertwining it. Some of the people that chat with us in Discord ask that we don't spoil anything about this mode, so I won't go into what the story is, but there is a better story already in this one than there was in the whole last game.
Are we talking like an 8-hour story, 30 minutes?
Not sure yet. I've only done the first part, so.
Okay. So there is a story, but the game, the purpose of this game, from what I understand also, is to ink or color the entire level. Whoever has the most color wins at the end of the match. So you're not necessarily going like Call of Duty to try to shoot people around, right? What is the goal here?
Right. So there in the multiplayer there are there's 2 variants. You have 3 variants now. You have Turf War, which is the mode you described. There's the map. Whatever team has the most of the flat sections of the map. So anything horizontal doesn't count. It has to be visible from the sky for it to count for your ink totals. So if you painted a wall, that doesn't do you any good. You can climb up the wall because of that, but it doesn't add to your total. So whichever team has covered the most ground wins. Now, if you do actually splat someone, kill them, they do explode in a little ink ball. So you do cover a little bit of turf by doing that. And I mean, it forces them to respawn. So you do want to get kills. But I mean, I've played against people online. I never even see them the whole map because all they're doing is just going around and trying to get behind people and just ink constantly, or get behind you and cover your base while you're focused on spawn camping, so to speak. So you have to have a really good map awareness to kind of keep track of what's going on. But yeah, really, I mean, you can not try to kill anyone and you could have the best score because you've just covered the most ground the entire time. So it's like you against the map is a good way to think about strategy for that. Then you have this new mode that was introduced called Salmon Run, which is a horde mode, basically, for your experience with, Gears of War and things like that in the past. It's you and 3 teammates against AI, 3 rounds. You have to collect each round you have to collect so many golden eggs that these salmon enemies drop, and you have a quota each round that you have to hit. So not only do you have to survive, you have to get so many golden eggs to actually progress. And there's 3 rounds, and you're randomly assigned one of 4 weapons each round. And you can earn, there's certain gear that's only available through that mode. And weirdly enough, it's not available all the time. Like they only it's only available at certain times online. So that's a little frustrating, but I've played that. And
you can team up with 4 people that and do your own one. You just can't do the randoms all the time, from what I've heard.
Oh, okay.
You can do like a local one with friends, but you can't do a thing all the time.
Yeah. And then they have ranked multiplayer, which has 3 different modes. There's Splat Zones, which is kind of like King of the Hill, basically. Then there's Tower Control, which there's a moving tower that you, by having possession of it, you move it towards the enemy's base, and it's kind of a tug of war type combat. And then the last one is called Rainmaker. So in that one, there's this weapon that spawns in the middle of the map. It's called the Rainmaker. It has a protective bubble. You shoot it with ink, it explodes, you grab it, and then the goal is to bring that to your enemy's base. And then the person who's carrying it has like a charged shot that will one-shot enemies, but it cannot, it doesn't produce any ink. So you're required to have your teammates support you to actually be able to progress, because you can't lay down ink to swim through with that weapon. And if you have the Rainmaker, you show up on enemy screens. Like you're constantly being shown where you are, so they're going to be coming for you all the time. So it takes a lot of coordination with your team to actually progress through that. So those are your main modes there.
So talk to me about this coordinating with the team, right? We know with PlayStation and Xbox, everybody has a headset that can plug in their controller. It's just as easy on Switch, right?
You're funny. we proved
it's even easier.
We proved how even horrible this was the other night, because Donnie, Caro, Coach, and I were trying to do a salmon run, and we're like, how do we make it? We make the room, and some random people kept joining, like, oh, let's use the Nintendo Switch Online app, newly released, which does work, But literally, here's what I do. I have to first, I'm like, okay, I'm going to open the app. Open the app. You must be in the online lobby. Okay, so I have to go to my Switch, go to this online hangout section, go in there, send a notification to my phone, wait for my phone to pop up. Okay, now you're connected. You can accept Carol's invitation. Push that. Okay, now go back to your Switch. Select there. It's just way too much back and forth. And it did work. I mean, it put me into voice chat with them, but my screen was on the entire time. So I'm just watching my battery just go. So no, voice chat is still not. I don't know. I really think I could talk about the app all night, but I really think Nintendo threw out a really bare bones effort just to meet release with Splatoon. I really hope this is like alpha version 1 and we're going to see many improvements. I urge everyone to submit feedback through the app of what changes you'd like to see, what features you don't like. As of right now, I'm still going to say a third-party option such as Discord or Skype with people you already know is the best bet, because with the official voice chat app, it only works in certain modes. You can't even, like, we couldn't just play anything we wanted and have voice chat.
And you can only hear your own teammates. So, like, if I'm playing against you, Nathan, you're on a different team, I can't trash talk with you. I can only talk to people on my team.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't work like a party chat on Xbox. That's for sure.
No, it's a shame. It's a shame. The only positive for it though is luckily the matches in Splatoon are like 3 minutes, and it's so fast paced that there's not really a whole lot of like, all right, you're gonna go this way and I'm gonna do this, because there's no time to even coordinate that really. So I don't personally find it as a huge miss. I haven't even attempted to voice chat in this one because it wasn't offered in Splatoon 1 at all. So it doesn't really faze me, but I can totally understand the frustration for anybody attempting to do so. I'm just waiving that all entirely and saying I'm not even going to bother.
So before I don't want to get too far into the weeds in this kind of thing, because obviously we want to just talk about Splatoon here for a second. But as far as an option goes, do you think it's feasible for the Switch to create a USB-C headset or something like that, where they can plug into the top of the Pro Controller or into the Switch itself if you're playing handheld mode, and just use that Switch and travel over the Switch connection without having to worry with this smartphone app?
You know, I've heard mixed things on here, because I've heard some people say that the reason the Switch doesn't have a native application on the device is something to do with battery concerns. They didn't want something like that to continue to drain the already limited battery life. I'm not sure, because the only option we've seen so far is the ultra cumbersome third-party alternative from Hori with the little squid the squid it's not like an amplifier, but it's essentially a booster, and you have to multiple wires. And yeah, I would love to see something that we could just plug into the controller. I would think that when we see a Switch version 2 down the road, maybe will give us this sort of opportunity. I would love to be able to just plug something into a controller, because we were doing that on how far back does that go? PlayStation 2?
The original Xbox
for me,
sure.
Yeah. No, PS2 was the first exposure for me, but yeah.
So
you did it on PC forever.
Yeah.
Well, right. Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, those are the questions I kind of had about Splatoon. I've, again, a newbie to the franchise. I don't see myself hopping on board anytime soon, but if it comes down to like a bargain bin price on Black Friday or something like that, I might give it a go if you guys are still playing, because it definitely seems like it is the multiplayer game aside from Mario Kart. It may even be more popular, honestly, than Mario Kart for multiplayer. So
it's a very fun, it's a very fun third person. Well, it technically is a third person shooter, but it's so different. Especially, I know you don't, Kevin, but I haven't tried thumbsticks. I've only played with motion controls, and with this new Pro controller, it's so good. Like, it's so weird thinking about playing a shooter by moving your controller, tilting and moving your controller around. But once you start getting used to it, it's a really cool experience. To play.
It's definitely a great grab and go game, Nathan. So I can promise you I'll still be playing this around Black Friday. I'll be playing this well into next year, because even the last Splatoon, it's so easy to just pick up and all right, I'm going to play like 5 matches of Splatoon and then just drop out. And there's always people playing, even with the limited audience of Wii U. I don't think I ever waited for a match in the original Splatoon. There's always people playing. It was like no problem, hop right in and go. And when they do the Splatfest I think they were every month last time, so they'll probably be the same thing now. That weekend especially, you get tons and tons of people playing, so it always reinvigorates the community every time, like an Overwatch event does.
Right. And you said something there about connecting online. There's ever been a problem to hop on and people playing. Well, how is the game stability itself? When you're looking to play a game, is it pretty solid when you connect in? Is there a lot of lag? I mean, this is Nintendo Switch's, second online game, right? So
yeah.
How stable is this system?
I personally haven't had any lag. The only issue I had with connectivity, ironically enough, was at the beach house. The internet went down like completely, so I lost connection in the middle of a match, and I thought it was the Switch, and I was like, oh man, what the heck? But it had nothing to do with that whatsoever. So I personally haven't had any issues. I know Jason's played a lot more than me though, so I don't know if he can speak to that.
I've been dropped, I think, one time. All of a sudden the match started and I moved around a little bit, and all of a sudden it said connection issue, and I just got kicked out of the lobby. But I've never noticed like lag in my game. I've like never noticed an opponent that was like warping around, or I wasn't like landing my shots or having issues with movement because of network connectivity or anything like that. So I will say I've seen better performance than what I did during the last test, which would have been the last Splatfest. And that's one thing we'll add is that they've committed to what, 2 years of Splatfest.
Yeah, I think they said 1 year of DLC and then 2 years of Splatfest.
Yeah. What is a Splatfest?
They're the events they do every month. We'll talk a little bit about in the news, but we'll get to that. They're special events that they do. But and it's surprising that there isn't like lag and jumping around, because when you watch it, even if you just watch a trailer or anything, the amount of paint and stuff that's going on, how fast paced everything is, there's a lot going on, and for it to be all online based is pretty impressive without having the lag or ghosting or anything.
So with that DLC support, I think that's what you'll help see. Like, it kind of gives that carrot on the stick approach. Yeah. So you'll see prolonged user base coming back around. Usually those updates will get people back into the game, and they'll keep picking this up. But like Kevin said, though, I can see myself playing this, especially with how much I enjoyed playing it in handheld mode, which I wouldn't expect. So this is really easy to just pick up and play. And like I was playing before we recorded the show, and I was like, I'll get 1 or 2 matches in. And then in an hour, I probably played, 10. I probably played somewhere around 15 or 20 matches, because they're just so short and you get right in and right out. So.
Okay, sounds cool. Again, I'll keep my eye on it towards the end of the year.
Yeah, it's definitely not for everybody. I had a bunch of friends ask me that are just getting into the Nintendo stuff. I'm like, hey, Splatoon, should I get it? I think I like it. And I'm like, well, you're big on Battlefield and Call of Duty, and this is not that. But I encourage everyone to at least try it out. Heck, even if you see it at like Redbox or something. I don't know if they do Switch games yet, but if you're able to rent it, try it out for like a weekend, and that'll give you a better idea, because it's not a game that I think, even with the special events that they did to let people try it out for the demos, they were so limited and so time constrained, people really couldn't get into it. I think if you talk to like Kyle, you give it a couple hours, you get a better feel for what the game actually is that way. But all right, so that's all you played, right, Jason?
Yep, that's it.
Squid Game 2.
Just Squid Game 2. All
right. Well, Nathan, why don't you go ahead and take over then?
Well, probably the most interesting and maybe notable for you guys that I've played. You guys played Squid Game 2. I played Space Game with kind of a story too. Obviously Destiny 2, the beta went live this past week and is currently live, I think, still. But I played the opening mission and Strike with some random people I encountered on the internet. So, basic thoughts on what I've experienced with the beta so far is, as far as the beta goes, seems pretty solid. I haven't run into some of the issues that other people have with. They've had issues with jumping and things have been reported. When I was moving around, movements were all solid and fluid for me, so I didn't have any issues with that. As far as issues go, mechanics are sound. Connections were all good when I was talking to people or playing with people on the Strike. When I was playing through the mission, they were fine. But here's what I will say. And I realize this is a beta, and I don't want to judge this now, but just kind of been brewing inside me over the past, ever since they announced Destiny 2, like, what's it going to be? What's it going to do? And this is our first glimpse into what it's going to be. So I feel that I can at least start to air my laundry now, is that I don't see, at this point, why this couldn't just have been another expansion onto Destiny 1, or original Destiny. I think that it's one of those things where the Taken King, you look at where Destiny went from with Taken King. Before that was Rise of Iron. Before that was just like vanilla Destiny. I think House of Wolves and some other things in there. After all that content dropped out, it was great, right? They gave you more subclasses. They gave you different weapons. They gave you all kinds of like new areas and everything. New species, I think, were introduced. But in Destiny 2, I mean, you're seeing a lot of the same stuff, as you saw in Destiny 1. There's one or two differences I noticed with like some Vex or some Cabal units. I think they were like kind of dogs or some other units. But I'm just the thing that bugs me is that the people who've put 1,000 hours or more into Destiny, I don't think I'm that high. I think I'm maybe 800, 500, somewhere around there for hours. So I played a lot, and I was fully invested into the original Destiny with all the expansions. I feel like for people like me who didn't jump ship after the original Destiny, came out, it was kind of poorly received, kind of okay received, but there was definitely a love it or hate it type thing going on when people who play the original Destiny. And for those of us who stuck around and we've played all these hours and everything, we're not going to be able to bring, any of our 1,000 hours or whatever of experience really over into Destiny 2.
Right.
And that's a problem to me. So, again, that's just kind of the thing that has been festering, my thoughts on, the whole Destiny 2 experience, because I feel like they should have more for people who have gone through the entire everything with the original Destiny. It just feels like this is catering more to the people who played original Destiny, saw that it wasn't quite for them, and then they'll come back in for Destiny 2. People who didn't do Rise of Iron, people who didn't do the House of Wolves, people who didn't do Taken King, obviously they want to pull them back in. Here's Destiny 2, right? So as someone who, I don't know how much you've played of Destiny, Kevin, but what's your thoughts of that?
It's tough. So I bought just vanilla Destiny because I got it literally, I think, for like $2 or $3, and I wanted to see if it was something I'd be interested in. I played probably about 20 to 25 hours, I think, into it. So it was enough to understand what it was, and I was like, okay, cool. I think I like this, but I'm going to stop and wait for Destiny 2 because people aren't playing this Destiny, and I don't want to dump all the money into buy all the expansions at this point when I know the new one's right around the corner. I agree with you. I would think that there'd be some sort of carrot in the stick for the people who spent the 1,000 hours, the Devons and whatnot. But then I wonder exactly how would that work with the new people and not cause the new people to feel left out again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it too late at that point? So I don't know. Like, I get the idea of why they did the quote unquote reset button in this one. Where like, hey, you're just starting from square one. Your character look will still be the same, but nothing else matters. But yeah, I mean, even if they did stuff. I mean, I don't know, even like exclusive armor or something, just make you look different because you spent more hours, like something.
There is something very minor cosmetic that they're going to bring over if you have a character from original Destiny, but I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's not super in-depth. It's not really worthy of what I would call all the time that you put into it. So, and people make the argument too, like, well, this is a full generation, just, Xbox One, PS4, PC now. There's no PS3, PS4, or Xbox 360 versions they have to make. They've already cut that tie with Taken King.
Oh, yeah.
Taken King was not available on the previous systems. So they've already made that jump. If you believe it or not, they've already have.
Yeah.
So I just, and from what I'm seeing in the game itself, it doesn't look like it's a leap. I would think that there would be some sort of big leap in what we see from a Destiny to a Destiny 2. I honestly just feel like you could make an expansion, use the same code, and this is just, whatever you want to call the subtitle, Destiny, the Cabal Rise, or whatever.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to, I still have my pre-order, obviously. But I haven't taken my finger off the trigger yet, just the cancel trigger.
Yeah.
So the safety is still off. You know what I mean? Anyway, but that's my thoughts on Destiny 2. Do you have any questions about it? Did you guys play it at all?
I didn't have time to play it. I guess for me, does it just feel like more of the same to you, or does it feel like something different? I guess what I compare it to is like Mass Effect Andromeda. to me, that so far, I haven't played as much as you did on it. It doesn't feel like the same Mass Effect. It feels like something different. Now, it's not bad. It's just something different. So does this feel like a different Destiny or just more Destiny?
It just feels like more Destiny.
Okay.
Which, again, isn't a bad thing, but it doesn't... I don't think it denotes a 2. I don't think it denotes a... Let's cast aside all your progress and all these hours that you've spent in this game and buy my game. You know? It's just... It feels like it's not worthy of a 2 from what I've seen so far. And again, I know that I'm just talking beta, right? This is just what we've seen for the beta, but there's just something that's been just doesn't feel right about it. That's just me, my perspective. Obviously, I'll be wrong. Shoot us out a tweet or something and let us know how wrong I am at Voice by Nathan. But I don't see it like being that big leap that it should be. You know, you look. And I know people hate this comparison. I think Devin for sure hates it. But you look at Battlefront in 2015 to Battlefront 2 that we're going to have come out this year.
Yeah.
It is a 2. It is a proper... There's a reason to have it 2. They've got a whole bunch more content. They've got updated models. They've got a storyline that people have been wanting, an actual proper campaign. They've got a whole bunch of changes, and they have, you know, more eras. They have this... There's a huge package upgrade, right? It's a 2. I don't see Destiny needing the 2. That's just all I gotta say.
Devil's advocate, though. So one last point before you move on to your other stuff. So would you say, though, that with Destiny 1, they addressed that lack of content by all the expansions? Like, Destiny Vanilla is very different from what Destiny became by the end of it. Whereas Battlefront just kind of stayed the course, and then Battlefront 2 was like, all right, here's all the stuff you guys wanted. Here's the proper 2. Do you feel like Destiny already did the proper 2, and now you feel like, well, this just feels like more of that? Or, you know, is it how you said it was?
I think that... I don't think they've already done the proper 2. Okay. Because there hasn't been a huge leap in anything. I think you have to have a lot more classes or... something else to justify a 2, right? Something in the base code has to be upgraded. That just couldn't be added on. That's what I think it has to happen. But as far as Battlefront, by the way, it was a completely different game from when it started too. They took a lot of the feedback and they've added, you know, with the season pass and stuff, they added the Bespin content, they added the Death Star, they added all the Outer Rim and something else. I can't remember the fourth one. But they added all this content to it, and Jakku. They built upon it. They gave you the ability to play with I think it was bots, and they added more single-player type missions. So it also evolved across, you know, its life course. And I put it in the other day and I was playing with it because, you know, Jason got it, and so I was wanting to kind of dust the old controller off in Battlefront, and I was like, man, this game has changed a ton since I played it. So anyway, I don't know. I'm gonna get some slack. I know. I'm sorry, Devin, but
you're getting slack in chat already.
Oh, am I? But I gotta just say that this is not what I was wanting for it to. I love Destiny. I will say that. I love the concept. I love space. Right? It's a space shooter. Space. And it's got all this cool like lore behind it if you go to the website and read about it anyway. But I want them to present it to me in this grand package. Destiny 1 didn't do that. I personally never went and read the Grimoire cards or whatever they were called. And I guarantee maybe 5 to 10% of the user base did. So that was their problem, their biggest fault. Is that they built up lore, but they didn't want to put it out on the package. I hope they change that with Destiny 2. Maybe if that is the case, maybe it is worth it too. If they have a bigger narrative thing that everything is encompassed in the game and we don't have to rely on our website anymore to tell you the story, maybe that will change my mind. Again, this is just my impressions on the original Destiny 2 beta. But I don't know. I'll give it a fair shake. I will. Like I said, not yet cancel the pre-order. I have the $100 edition over at GameStop pre-ordered that has the first 2 expansions, I think. So anyway,
there you go.
I'm a Destiny fan. I am a fan. Maybe not as much as other people are, but I want it to be good, and I just don't. I don't see why they have to do a 2 here. That's all I'm saying.
No. I was hoping to play the beta, but man, I had to leave for the weekend trip, so that went out the window. So.
Yeah, timed betas don't work for me either, Jason. I'm there with you, where it's like, I could have played it Friday or Saturday, but Splatoon,
Squid Game,
yeah. So Nathan, next on your list, you went from a game that you complained had no story to a game that virtually is just a story. So what's your impressions on this one? Because I'm interested in hearing this. I don't know anybody that's played it yet. So
all right, so this is obviously he's looking at the notes, ladies and gentlemen, so he sees what you don't. Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale game. I've played episodes 1 and 2. I don't believe I talked about this before.
I don't think so.
It is all story. You can get that right off the bat. Is it good story? Is the big question. And here's where I'm coming at with Guardians, right? I'm not familiar with the Guardians comic, but I am familiar with the Guardians movies and the characters as portrayed on the screens. And I like the game enough that I'll continue on and finish it. Because 1, I already bought the season pass, so I'm going to finish it. But 2, I want to see where it goes. Like in the first episode, it was interesting storytelling, but I just didn't feel engrossed in the story. I was looking for this to be kind of like the Borderlands type game, where it has some good jokes, it has good pace, it has good interplay with everybody, and the jokes just aren't there. And if they are there, they don't hit for me. It's just okay. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just because I was expecting more out of it. I don't know, but I just feel like that they have a huge opportunity here, and I don't think they're hitting on every cylinder. So I feel like, for them to have this great property and just kind of miss on it. I think Batman was a lot better, comparing comic to comic, right? Fables, with The Wolf Among Us, a lot better, and to the episode 2. But I'm not feeling it with Guardians. Like, I'm not looking forward to the next one. I can barely remember what happened in episodes 1 and 2, and I just played them. So it's not sticking with me like the other Telltale stuff has. So, and this coming from a comic fan, from someone who loves the Marvel Cinematic Universe and everything they do, and comics in general, it's just not sticking with me. So I would say, if you haven't purchased it yet, wait for a sale, get it on sale or something, or just wait till they all come out, read a review after the series is out, and see if you want to go through it. But for me, for episodes 1 and 2, which are released now, interesting what's going on, but not really into it personally. And so I'll move on, unless you have any questions about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I also played another game, honestly, just because Mo played it and he got 1,000 gamer score, and so I wanted to get 1,000 gamer score. And that's the Little Acre. He talked about it a little bit last time when he was on, so I'm not going to talk about that, because I basically was just, I don't know, I wanted to get some achievements this month to kind of give him some chase. He's still way ahead of me, but I got a few achievements anyway. So I got 1,000 out of that, and I erased off the hard drive because it was not my kind of game, but I got achievements. Another game that is my kind of game that has new DLC, which I'm pretty sure you talked about last time, is Injustice 2. So I got the season pass, obviously, with the Ultimate Edition, and I did not like Red Hood. I don't know if I've talked about that yet or not, but I didn't really care for playing as Red Hood. I don't know if it was because of his moveset or what it was, or the range of character he is. I didn't gel with him. So I didn't play him much after he came out. I went through his little story vignette thing and beat that to see what the end of was for him. And I fired it back up this week because Sub-Zero came out, and I wanted to check that out because I saw you guys were talking about it. I was like, oh yeah, I honestly forgot it came out. So I fired it up and played with Sub-Zero, and I like Sub-Zero. He's actually a really good character, really well versed, and for my play style at least. And I wish I knew him better, because there are some people that are just tearing up with Sub-Zero online. Even when I go to play the Sub-Zero like on medium difficulty against a computer, I get tore up pretty easily. So if I can get better with him, I think it'd be really cool. He's got, he can freeze people. I haven't figured out how to freeze people yet, but eventually I'll probably figure that one out. But really enjoying playing the Injustice 2 game again. That's a fantastic game. I can't wait until Xbox One X comes out, because they're going to have more updates. There's an enhancement for Xbox One X that they've already announced, so that'll look fantastic. And another game, the last game that I'll talk about this week that I've been playing recently is called Spheroids. It was on sale for the Ultimate Game Sale, and it's an Xbox One or PC, like Windows 10 Play Anywhere type game. So you can go back and forth and play it. And then that's honestly the reason that I bought it, is because I like that Play Anywhere concept. So I figured I'd give it a go. It was cheap. It was $5 or something like that. And it's kind of a dumb game, but it's a time waster.
Hey,
and that's all I have to say about that. It's not a game I'd recommend at this point for sure. It's cheap. It's Play Anywhere title. It's kind of cool. It's an indie game. It's kind of got that 8-bit kind of vibe going for it, for 8-bit sake, but it's got some interesting stuff. But it's dumb. I don't like it.
It's good, but it's dumb. So I don't know if you saw it. So back to Injustice 2 a little bit too. So I'm enjoying Sub-Zero too, and I didn't think I'd like him at all. I mean, you're right. He's a good character. I would almost say borderline OP a little bit. Like he seems very easy to dominate people with. My only gripe with Sub-Zero, I know a lot of people were like, he doesn't belong, he's not a DC character. I get those gripes. I want to know more of what his story is, because the banter at the beginning of matches allude to some bigger story that they don't talk about. Like, he says to Black Adam's like, when do I get to go back? He's like, oh, we'll see about that. So obviously, like, it seems like Black Adam is the one who summoned him into it, but you don't know for sure. Like, it's a very interesting story. They don't really give you, even when you beat his quote unquote story thing, you just see how the end is, but not really any origin or background. So that's a little jarring. But they did over the weekend too show the Starfire trailer. So Starfire is the next DLC character we have coming, and they are also going to be releasing a Bizarro premium skin, which is pretty cool. So those will be coming down the pipeline.
And Bizarro premium skin is just the Batman skin, right?
Superman skin.
That's right.
Yeah, but they even took the time. All the premium skins, if you haven't tried them out, they actually give the character a different voice and everything like that. But similar moveset. But what they did do for Bizarro is that he has fire eyes and laser breath instead of like, so it's all backwards rather, as the character should be. So it's pretty cool. It looks like they did it some justice there, and injustice.
So with Bizarro, I wonder if they're going to have the same guy that does the Superman voice just do like the Hulkish kind of voice, broken language.
Yeah, I am looking forward to, because I didn't see anything where it was a trailer for that, so I don't think I got to hear him talk. I'll have to go back and look, but yeah, I want to see the banter that happens at the beginning of the matches between like Bizarro and somebody else, because that'd be pretty funny.
I do like with the premium skins how they've done, like you got the Power Girl, you got the Jon Stewart, you got Mr. Freeze. There was another one that's also a changer. What is
Vixen for Cheetah.
Okay, yeah, and you have to buy that one. I haven't earned up enough credits for that. I wanted the Mr. Freeze one instead. So I think it's really cool they've done that. And they change when you do those skins too, like the intros when characters interact with you. Yep. So it's not just like if you do the Mr. Freeze skin on Captain Cold, they address you as, Mr. Freeze, and it's a good back and forth. So, and like you said, they also change the character dialogue, so it's somebody else talking. Yeah, they do a really good job. The game is fantastic.
It's so
a great
fun.
Game. I finally got all the time-based achievements, by the way. So I got that 4:30 achievement and the 8 o'clock achievement.
Yeah.
I think I bashed Sub-Zero through a wall for the last one. But
coming after Coach Mo again, huh?
Well, if it's not, if we're not talking about achievements, we're talking about Madden. So
So Madden. There, Coach Mo's happy. So. All right, so I guess I'll go next. So we already talked. I mentioned, played Splatoon 2, obviously. Played Injustice 2, as we said. The two games I'll talk about next. I have reviews up on the website for already, so check those out. Serial Cleaner, which was fun. So if you're not familiar with Serial Cleaner, basically you're playing as the guy. It's a stealth-based game on PS4. It's on Xbox One. It's also on Steam right now. That goes up after a crime scene and kind of disposes of the evidence for the mob boss. So like it's kind of a top-down look, and you have your map outline. You got to get the bodies, bring the bodies back to the car without the police catching you. Also grab some evidence, whether it's a gun or knife or something like that, and get them. It's a really, really fun game with an excellent soundtrack. The soundtrack is kind of like jazzy, funk almost, which is really cool. It was actually, it was totally a highlight for me in the game, and I wasn't expecting it. Actually, with the review code that they provided to us, it actually gave me a copy of the soundtrack as well.
Oh, nice.
Which was awesome. So I was like,
I love it when devs do that.
Yeah, I was kind of like, oh, why'd I get the soundtrack with this? I mean, that's kind of weird. So I didn't even listen to it until I played the game, and I'm like, oh, that's why they gave it, because it's awesome. Yeah, great game. Definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth the price of admission. So if you want to read the full write-up and review, head over to the website. Second one I did was a PC game, because we don't really review a ton of these.
PC Master Race.
Yep, PC Master Race. Booted up the old PC, gave it a good run for its money, and a pretty in-depth game there. Number 70, Eye of Basir. And this is basically a horror thriller type game. So one that gives you some jump scares.
69.
What was that?
The first 69.
Number 70.
Yeah, but did you play the first 69?
No. No, I skipped over. I heard they weren't that good, and this was kind of the reboot of the franchise. No, what the number 70 stands for is actually, that's the house you're in is number 70. So that's where that's from. But yeah, the first 69 were terrible anyway. But yeah, so I was in the mood to play something that was a little creepy, a little jump scary. Not a ton of jump scares in it, but the atmosphere is very creepy. And I did, for the first time, play this game entirely with headphones on. So if you don't play games with headphones on often, it kind of isolates everything else. So you're just hearing the game and nothing else. And the atmosphere in this game has things like dogs barking. You hear like trash cans getting knocked over, creaking floors, stuff like that. Well, this game has a habit of like, I'm going to walk down this hallway to the living room and get X item to go do, something in a different part. And as you're going back, all of a sudden there's this loud smash, like a door busts open. It's just like wood flies everywhere. So the sound effects really got me more than the actual creepiness of the game itself. But it was excellent sound engineering, fun game overall. In the end, the story left me wanting to know more. I was left with more questions than I was answers by the end of it. But it was still a beautiful looking game. The developers have already said there's going to be free DLC that's going to come down the line. So I'm hoping maybe those answer some things for me. But overall, it's a pretty fun kind of first-person creepy game to play. So check out that review as well. Last thing, I don't remember if I talked about this on the last podcast or not, but the Hey Pikmin demo did drop for the US on the 3DS. So I gave it a shot because I'm like, hey, it's Pikmin. I jonesing for another Pikmin game. Since I sold the Wii U, I sold the Pikmin 3, so I haven't had any Pikmin fix. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I'll say it at that. It's not great. It is different, but it was enough to get me to pre-order it, and I am going to play it. I'll be getting it on Friday along with Miitopia. So I'll probably end up reviewing that for the website unless Donnie wants to, but I think he'll probably leave that one to me. But yeah, if you're a Pikmin fan, it does capture the spirit of the game. Obviously, it's not the same type of game because the 3DS, well, maybe it can handle it, but it wasn't developed as that kind of game. It's a side-scroller. You throw your Pikmin, but it still feels familiar. So it's a nice little thing, and it's worth a shot, I think. So I'll report more on that in the future, but that's kind of been it for me, I think.
I forgot one thing. It has been not something I've been playing, but something I'll share. I don't know if you can see the screen that I am sharing, but on Prime Day, I got this chair. Ferrero Line. It's a gamer kind of chair by Rapidex. It's a pretty cool chair, by the way. I've been looking for a new one for a little while, but yeah, it's.
What was the Prime Day deal?
It was $222 on Prime Day.
Nice.
It's usually $350. So anyway, I just wanted to share that I got this chair, and I thought it was kind of cool. I'm sitting in it now. It's kind of nice. It doesn't suck like my old chair.
Ironically enough, during Prime Day, I bought a ton of stuff. And I had that in the cart at one point just because I wanted to see what the Lightning deal price was going to be when that dropped. So then, like, I had it in there, and I wasn't with my wife. I was at work all day. My wife was at home. She was babysitting some kids. And she texted me, she goes, why the hell is there a $200 chair in the cart right now? And I was like, I was just looking. And I'm like, I'm not going to buy it. She's like, okay, good. I'm like, but I'm very jealous, Nathan. Very jealous.
So if you ever see me just be like, laying back here, it's all right. I'm okay.
I was waiting for the feet to come up as you flipped over, but you just keep going.
I know. I'm waiting for the whole thing to just flip. It just, Nathan goes off camera.
That's amazing.
So anyway, yeah, my little gamer chair, which, by the way, this may solve my issue with playing games at the PC because I was always like, I can't sit in my recliner and play on my PC. Well, I guess I can now.
It's true.
It feels like a car, by the way. It feels like a car seat. Like, in my car as I drive, not a car seat. Like
I was about to say, you sit in the car seat?
I'm a grown man. But I enjoy it. It was super easy to put together too, which I was kind of dreading doing that because I hate putting chairs together. I don't know why. It's one of those things I hate doing. It's like I don't want to put a chair together.
Hold on. I built a shed this weekend, and you're complaining about possibly building a chair.
I just don't want to do it. I'll do it. I just don't want to.
Fair enough. All right, so that's it from us. So let's check in. There was some news this week, so some worthy things of us discussing.
There was no news.
It was a little bit. It was a little bit. But check the notes. There's some things there, some bullet points. But anyway, without further ado, everyone, let's get into the news of the week. Our first story, as we all know, we've been waiting anxiously for pre-orders of the SNES Classic to hit the interwebs, and many people have had all the sites bookmarked: your Best Buy, your Amazon, your Target, GameStop. Everybody has a placeholder page, but nothing's come up. So Walmart, for some brilliant reason, while every Nintendo fan was clearly playing Splatoon at 11 to midnight on Friday, decided, hey, we're going to open up pre-orders for the SNES Classic. And it sat there for about 40 minutes before actually running out. So tons and tons of people, including some people on staff here, were able to secure a pre-order. Due to me building a shed all day, as many other home improvement projects on Friday, I was asleep, so I missed out completely on this. Little frustrated. But yeah, some people were able to pre-order it. There has been some updates that some pre-orders have been canceled. So luckily, nobody we know has gotten any of those cancellations yet. And then Target, people were tweeting at Target on Saturday after this happened, asking, if they were going to do it, and they alluded that they were going to.
We are, but we aren't, but we might be.
Yeah, so Target may or may not be doing it soon. Hopefully, if they do, they'll actually tell people when that's going to go live instead of just dropping it in the middle of the night for some reason.
I have to say, it was so cool, though, to watch my news feed and Discord channels like light on fire when that happened. Because we played Splatoon. Donnie was on. He's like, oh, I'm going to bed. And all of a sudden, he comes back online. Guys, I just want to tell you the pre-orders are up. Go to Walmart, buy it. And then some people were like, oh, my God. And other of us were like, meh. And then that pattern just kept repeating with other people. You guys, there's pre-orders. Did you get them? And I went to Walmart at one point, and I had it in my cart, and my wallet was upstairs, and I was like, I don't want to go up and get it.
Yeah, why didn't you do it? I'm surprised you were up.
Honestly, I just don't want to pay. What is it, $90 right now? And I took the responsible route, Kevin. I was like, I got other things I got to pay for right now. I just don't want to. Now, if it was Amazon, it's no brainer. I've got my Amazon store card. I got other stuff. I don't have to. I don't have to pay for it until it ships.
Sure.
I'd have been like, oh, done deal. But so I'm still hopeful that Amazon's going to pull something like that. But I took the route. I'm like, if I'm meant to have this, I'm going to have one eventually. So, plus, I feel like if it really comes down to it, I'm going to work that Coach Mo relationship.
Yeah, right. I think we're all expecting that. If it doesn't work out, like,
kind of hope to have that in the back pocket if it comes down to it.
So, all right. So with that being said, we have two questions about this news story. So, do you think we'll start with Nathan? Do you think we'll see pre-orders for the SNES Classic at major retailers before launch, other than Walmart, or did Walmart, kind of jump the gun and the reason they're canceling is because they realize they can't do it or they accepted too many orders? So, do you think we'll actually see pre-orders for this, or no, Nathan?
I think we'll see pre-orders for it. Like you said, Target was talking about possibly doing it, or someone was hoping that they would at least. And I think that so at the major outlets, they signed up. You could sign up for the notify me when available type thing. Comes out.
Yeah.
And I don't think they would do that unless they're planning on doing pre-orders, right? I don't think they would do that unless they would.
Amazon did do it last time for the NES Classic, and they did not do pre-orders.
Okay, so that'll be, I guess that's okay, but I think that we would get pre-orders from those bigger shops. I don't think we'll get them from some of the smaller ones or ones that aren't really known for doing pre-orders, obviously. But I think Best Buy, GameStop, I would think that this time around they would do pre-orders. Seeing how big it was last time with the NES Classic, it would make sense to do pre-orders. because they can just treat it like another system. Maybe before they were treating it like an Atari flashback or something, right?
That's
and
true.
now they're going to treat it like something like, oh, these are going to sell out. People are going to want these things. It's only $80 or whatever, but they want them. So I think they'll have pre-orders. I think it's a good idea for them to if they don't. So if you're listening to me, head of Best Buy marketing, A, we need a sponsor. B, you need to do pre-orders for any SNES Classic.
Let's tweet at Hubert Joly from Best Buy, the CEO, and see if we can get a response.
With a name like Hubert Joly, he's not going to respond to us.
But he's French.
Yeah, so
he's going to run away. He's going to retreat.
Run away.
Huh.
We've already got one. You already have an SNES Classic? Yes. Can I see it? No.
So, Jason, do you think other retailers are going to follow suit, or is Walmart going to be a one and done?
I would like to hope so, just because but let's face it, logic makes no sense with how this works. I really just don't want to see another situation where we see scalping and reselling run rampant. We know it's going to happen regardless, but I'm not going to take time off of work to try to get something like this. I'm not going to camp in line to try to get something like this. I just don't care enough about gaming to do that for anything. You know, I'm not going to, like, same thing when, like, I don't do Amiibo, things like that. If I can get on a website and push a button, luckily before a robot does it 5,000 times.
Oh, I hate robots.
You know,
really
hopefully that's the case. But I want pre-orders to happen, but I don't know I don't know if is that Nintendo being the stick in the mud for that. It's the retailers. I don't see how it affects the retailers at all, because I mean they get the sale no matter what. So
yeah, I don't think it affects them. Yeah, they do need to do that. I agree.
By the way, Jason said Amiibo. I actually bought 2 Amiibo this week.
What'd you get?
What?
Hold on a second.
Oh, wait, I think I know which one.
I know which one. I know one of them at least. I don't know the other one.
So while he's grabbing that, I'm in the same boat as you, Jason. I want pre-orders, but I'm not sure it's going to happen. So let's see what Nathan's got. I'm assuming I know which one. I know one of them.
I don't know the other.
Okay, so they're the same thing, but so this is the Cloud Amiibo. That's right. This is the one that I pre-ordered a long time ago. That when I saw that was shipping, I was like, "Oh wow, this is finally coming out." So here's the Cloud Amiibo, the original one. I haven't decided if I'm going to open it yet or not, but I want to because it just looks really cool. And then this is the variant.
Oh, you got both of them. Okay.
That they had at GameStop as exclusive. I just figured I'd stop by GameStop on my lunch break that day, and they had it. So I was like, "Okay, I'll get one of these too." So I got the variant because I mean I'm a Cloud guy, right? I love Final Fantasy VII. I had to get these.
Nice. Yeah.
Very nice.
The Splatoon 2 ones are up on Amazon right now for pre-order. I had them in the cart, and then I was like, I don't know. Just the Inkling Boy and the Inkling Girl, Jason, not the Purple Squid yet. I know you said you wanted that one. That one's not on there for some reason, but the other two are. I'm still hoping for the Pikmin one to show up. That one's still not available on Amazon yet, but it might be after the release like they're doing with Splatoon, apparently. I don't know. All right, so
like they're doing with Final Fantasy VII Cloud like a year later from the DLC.
Yeah, right. I still don't get why well, I mean, I get why they released them because they kind of had to, but it's like it's been so long. Yeah. Nobody's playing that now.
They announced it, and then they just had to save face, and just do it.
Yeah. I love all the people too that are like, there's a lot of people tweeting pictures right now, like, I've completed my entire Super Smash Bros. Amiibo collection. But now that Nintendo sold, like, wait a minute, people buy Player 2 variants of these things. Here comes Mario Player 2 and Luigi Player 2. And then
they already did that. That's when I stopped buying Amiibo, when they re-released Mario, right? I had the originals. I had the entire line up until they started re-releasing Amiibo characters because of Mario Party, I think, came out.
Yeah.
And they were releasing ones for that. And I was like, no. I already have Mario. I don't want another Mario. Why are you doing this to me? Don't make new ones. Keep going. You got more to do. And so then I said, forget you, Nintendo. I'm going home. And I stopped buying Amiibo until Cloud. That was the time. So I almost bought a Guardian. I saw a Guardian at Target once just sitting there, and it was really cool. And it was huge. And I was like, that looks neat. But it didn't. And now you can't find them. And so I regret it.
Those are cool looking.
I went to Target the other day, and they actually had a restock on those things. They didn't have Guardian, but they had Zelda. And I don't have Zelda yet. And I had it in my hand, and I was just like, nah, and I put it back. But
there's a day Donnie told me they were back up at GameStop, and I had the Guardian in my cart, and then I was like, shoot, by the time I got to pay, it was like $7 to ship it, and I was like, I'm not paying $25 for this thing.
Yeah, no. I have the Archer Link, I have Guardian, and I have the Horseback Link. from that set. So I don't have Zelda the Bobokin or but yeah, I had Zelda in my hand and I put her down because I was like, I don't think I need it, but these amiibo, man, they keep us going. So second question on the SNES Classic is any suggestions you guys might have for anybody trying to snag a pre-order if a Walmart situation happens again where it just pops up?
Just do it.
I think you just have to be at the right place at the right time, because even if you know when stuff's coming, like especially now with the way the scalpers have crap set up, I mean, they've got these auto buy scripts and things like that to just you just got to get lucky, I really think. And I don't even know, like, I don't even know how good, like, Amazon, you can sign up for alerts and things like that. And then there's the now in stock website and those things. I don't know how fast those even rely. I honestly think Twitter seems to be
went out really quick.
Did it?
Yeah.
I think I think like Wario64 on Twitter is one of the best ways to get about anything, because that dude's always on top of really news and things like that, especially with these. I mean, he was the guy who tweeted about this. So I think you just got to have the trigger figure ready, and just if you're gonna do it, you just got to be ready to buy. Have your be logged in already. Have your wallet just in case, and you got to go.
I agree, and then plan B, you need a Coach Mo, really. It works out well too. But yeah, I'm with you too. Wario64, I think, is kind of what I set up for alerts. When everyone thought they were gonna go up, like a couple weeks ago, whenever it was like paranoid is going to go up, I had subscribed to him, but then he kept tweeting about all other stuff, and I'm like, I don't care that this Steam game is on sale for 79 cents. I want to know about the SNES, so I had the alerts flag me in Twitter. But yeah, all right. So another newsworthy item: D23 Expo happened this past week. Now, while there was plenty of Star Wars and Marvel related stuff, we're going to stick to the video game news here. And Kingdom Hearts 3 was talked about. Kind of forgot. Yeah.
Stop it. There was also Marvel and Star Wars related stuff at this conference. I watched this conference.
I said there was. I literally just said that.
But you said video game stuff. They had Star Wars and Marvel video game stuff too.
Oh yes, that's true. I should specify that. But nothing new. But yes, you are correct.
Incorrect. There was new stuff.
New stuff for the games we've already seen.
Yes. You've already seen this like 10 years ago, too.
Well, yeah, but in the past couple months. So Kingdom Hearts 3, they did confirm a new Toy Story World and a 2018 release window. So whether or not they're going to hit that, who knows?
It's not a release window when they give a year. It's a release wall, right?
I guess when you've been waiting 13 years or whatever for the game, I guess this is the closest window we've gotten so far. But yeah, so the Toy Story World now is the third confirmed world we have for this game, along with a Tangled featuring Rapunzel, and then a Baymax from Big Hero 6 type level. We've seen some screenshots featuring Hercules Coliseum, but that's kind of been in every Kingdom Hearts game so far anyway. Focused primarily right now on Xbox and PS4 for 2018, but they also said they wouldn't rule out coming to other platforms Switch down the line. The problem with that.
Sorry, I was just reading your notes.
So, but here's the thing. So for diehard Kingdom Hearts fans like myself, waiting for a core sequel in the franchise, not these stupid little spin-offs they've been doing that have all been terrible, with the exception of Kingdom Hearts just
2.8 prologue splash.
Yes, all those ones. Okay, I get that they're part of the story, but they're just random and it's weird. 1 and 2 are the best. Let's stick with that. So we've been waiting for 3 forever. I'm not about to wait longer for a version on Switch. I'll just play it. I've waited long enough. I don't need it. And so if it comes out the same exact time and graphically it's not that different, then yes, I would play it on Switch simply for the portability. As Jason and I have talked about, that works much better for us in our lifestyle most of the time. But I'm not going to wait an extra 6 months to a year to play if it's going to come to another console at this point for me. Any interest at all in Kingdom Hearts 3, Nathan?
Interest, yes. I have never played any of their Kingdom Hearts games, just to be fully exclusive, out in the open there.
But Cloud's in them.
He is, and that's the only reason why I would play them.
Okay.
But he's not like the main focus. So Sephiroth is also in them, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, if this game comes out and it has Star Wars and Marvel tie-ins too, I'm definitely probably going to check it out. But I'm not beholden to the franchise at all. I've never played any other ones, like I said, so I don't know what's going on in the story. But if this has something to do with Star Wars, I'll probably play it. But other than that, I mean, running around with Goofy and Donald and Mickey's cool, but I want to run around with like Sidious and Vader and see what happens. Just to, they're probably on the other side. They're probably not going to play with like Mickey. That probably wouldn't make sense. But Luke or Rey, kind of have them running around.
If they do a Star Wars, which I'm with you, I really hope they take advantage of those. They've worked on the game for so long. I don't think it'd be out of the realm of possibility now at this point. They could have a level. But since you haven't played the other ones, there are like, so for instance, when you go to Christmas Town, Nightmare Before Christmas, Jack will join your team. Hercules joins your team in the Hercules level, Tarzan, stuff like that. So if they do a Star Wars one, you should see some sort of team up with a Star Wars character as well. So that'd be kind of cool.
This is Halloween.
Is it?
Yep.
Right now?
Yep.
Okay. Any interest for you in Kingdom Hearts, Jason? I know you haven't been a PlayStation guy.
I've never had an opportunity to play one. I mean, I've always heard good things. Middle of the road Disney fan with some of those properties. So I guess for me, my always concern would it be. Clearly, I am entertained by some more of a younger target demographic. So I kind of wonder, where does this game kind of like, what age group does it target? Does it have a wide appeal? Does it play to a younger crowd? So I wonder that aspect, and how much interest to it, how much knowledge do I need to have of the previous games in the series to be able to understand anything else? But I feel like it'd be something I would at least be possibly interested in.
That's fair. So yeah, both you and Nathan touch on the whole story aspect. It's okay because even people that have played the game still have no idea what the story is at this point.
Wait, I forgot Squaresoft.
Yeah, it's been so weird. They've done things where it's like, oh no, this whole game was a dream, and here's an alternate timeline of the same thing. So it's like you don't really even know what the heck's going on anymore. I'm hoping at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3 they do some sort of like previously on and give you what the actual story is supposed to be at this point. Mm-hmm. But the other thing you mentioned was the audience, who it targets to. I can say while you partner with like Donald and Goofy and Mickey, this is not a kid's game. Not that it's inappropriate for children, but this isn't an easy game to play at all. This
Disney meets Howard the Duck. I mean, he likes Fritz the cat. Yes,
Fritz the
perfect.
Cat. It's definitely a Final Fantasy game at heart. So it's on that same difficulty scale where like some bosses are impossibly hard. It works in that same manner. So if you're a fan of Final Fantasy like Nathan, I think Nathan would enjoy these things. Plus you have the Disney aspect and the hopefully Star Wars Marvel aspect pulled into them for a little bit extra flair. But yeah, it's been such a long time. I just want to play them again. And I've almost bought the remasters a few times now, but I think I'll probably pull the trigger now that this news is out. I can get to the beating the two of them before this one comes out, hopefully. Let's see. So what else we got in news here? All right. So actually, we'll talk Splatoon 2 a little bit more. So Nathan asked a little bit about what Splatfest was. We've already mentioned during the sneak preview, Splatfest happened. Was Cake versus Ice Cream, which Johnny lost brutally because he was on the wrong team, the entire team, which was Team Cake. They have already announced what the next one is, and it first came out for Europe, and then we weren't sure if it was going to hit the U.S., but it did in fact hit Ketchup versus mayonnaise.
So bad.
It is. I don't know. But to explain what Splatfests are, Nathan, they give you two options here. So in this instance, ketchup and mayo, and you select a team that you want to represent during the Splatfest. Splatfests typically run for a whole weekend, from like Friday night till Sunday night. And as you play the game, you represent your team, helping the statistics, and whichever team wins more matches and has a higher popularity vote will win prizes. In the first Splatoon, it was, I forget what they call them, but they were like the snail shells. I don't know. Do you remember what they were called, Jason?
Sea snails.
Sea snails. And what you'd be able to do with the sea snails, Nathan, you'd be able to see this guy who would mod your equipment, whether it's your jerseys, your hats, or your actual weapons, and give them extra buffs. So like you might be able to ink faster. You might have more your special charges up quicker. You when you die, you respawn back quicker, stuff like that. So there were perks to being on the right team and participating in Splatfest. We haven't really seen what's going to happen with a real Splatfest this time. Probably something similar. I haven't found any tickets yet, Jason. Have you found the tickets for the food truck yet?
No, I haven't done any of the single player stuff yet. So
okay, so yeah, I'm not sure where those come into play. If that's part of the Splatfest 2 or I don't know, but. Yeah, so that's coming down the line. I think it's the last bit of news I have then is Pokemon Go Fest happened or didn't. So it was intended to be a real world gathering in Chicago. That was going to be full of rare Pokemon, special raids, collectibles. Well, most people were reporting the game is basically unplayable due to connectivity issues. And so many people hitting the game servers from the same location. The live crowd has even booed the CEO of Niantic when he was on stage chanting "We can't play" over and over again. So it looks like Niantic now is doing full refunds for those in attendance in the Pokemon Go Fest, plus $100 of in-game credit for those people there. So yeah, this looks like it was a horrible, horrible mess.
Gosh.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the first question, I know for me, I did jump into it a little bit like a couple months ago and kind of played a little bit more Pokemon Go because I'd left it like a year ago. Have either of you been playing anytime recently?
No. Never played. I played it. I downloaded and installed it when it was all the rage.
Yeah.
And I walked around my neighborhood once and I was like, all right, well, that was a thing.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know many people still play. I guess Q still plays it. I don't know if Coach Mo still plays it actually. So I guess the only question I have for this is, are you surprised that this happened? Like when this was first announced, I was kind of like, well, I don't know how this is going to go. Did you expect anything like this to go this horrible?
I didn't even know they announced it.
Really?
I just nobody cares. Nobody cares.
You're in Illinois.
Nobody. It was here.
Yes, it's in Chicago.
See, I didn't even know. So yeah, it was going to go horribly wrong because nobody knew about it for one thing. Even people who live in Illinois that played the game didn't know what was happening.
But tickets sold out in like less than a day.
Well, you know what? Who cares?
Okay.
The cell phone servers did they go down up there or something? Because that wouldn't surprise me if it's Illinois.
Yeah, I think it just blew everything out. But yeah, so it went horrible. Do you think this is actually going to hinder the game at all for the people who still play? Because clearly people are still playing. We don't know any of them that still play, but
yeah, people still play.
Yeah,
no one's going to care. People who still play the game that don't even know this happened, they're just going to play it. It's okay. I don't care. Nobody cares.
Yep. Nobody cares. Forget Pokemon. All right.
Hey, quick question. Actually, not a question. But as an aside, so at the D23 Expo in that gaming section, they also had some stuff about Spider-Man. They had it's kind of like a developer talk with the developer and just showed some more behind the scenes stuff. And they also showed a VR game that they're releasing for Marvel that's going to allow you to use, I think it's Oculus, but I'm not sure. That's going to let you be like Hulk, Rocket Raccoon, Captain Marvel, someone else. So I know Mo is probably going to be jacked about playing as the Hulk virtually. And they also announced a lightsaber game in VR using a Lenovo product. They didn't really do much about it, but it's like a lightsaber training game in VR. They showed the little lightsaber tool that you would use to actually control it. It looked pretty cool. So that'll be available to demo, I guess, at Best Buys exclusively at some point in the future. And then lastly, that I can remember at least, this is all just off the top of my head, they talked about Star Wars Battlefront, and they had the lead character actress up there. I can't remember her name, but she's pretty cool. Yeah. She's pretty active on social media. And she was out there talking about the game because they were focusing solely on single player content at the D23 Expo. So they did like this really cool behind the scenes look at Star Wars Battlefront 2. So it's on YouTube. You can go check those out. But yeah, definitely go check them out. And since this is the con season, come on, we have to talk about San Diego Comic-Con going on right now. Just a few of the trailers, right? Just a few of them.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll jump into the That's Entertaining segment of the show now.
Ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I can't do it. But yeah, just because it's going on right now, San Diego Comic-Con is fantastic. It's a great place for gamers, for people who love entertainment and everything, all about that. But specifically, they've had some panels on, Marvel properties, Star Wars, and the DC movies coming out. So they released a Justice League trailer. Looks fantastic. I think it looks fun. It looks fun.
To watch that.
It looks better than BVS trailer ever did.
Yeah, so, to me, it didn't look fun though. Like Marvel, you get a sense of whimsy. This was still just more doom and gloom.
This looks better than the Super Mario Brothers trailer.
And Flash's suit is still awful.
What are you gonna do? It's the interpretation. It's fine. But it looked like it was fun. They had a joke in there. Everybody disappeared except Flash at the one point, and they're like, "Oh, that's rude." It was fun. And when you had Arthur Curry riding a guy down through a building, he looks like he'll be fun. And it was kind of weird though. They had that Wonder Woman scene where it was kind of like scene for scene what they did in the Wonder Woman movie, like with her fighting someone in a room. And I'm like, that's a little bit of a pretty on the nose callback there. So, but anyway, it looks good. And obviously, you have opposing thoughts, Mr. Kevin.
Yeah, I don't know. It just looks like more DC. Like the Flash quip was kind of good, and the other thing they're talking about fighting and Flash is like, I've never fought anybody. I've just run up to him really quick and hit him and ran away. Like, I'm like, man, I think for me the biggest thing is like, all right, Ben Affleck can be the brooding Batman. I'm totally cool with that, but there needs to be something to kind of balance that. And while they're trying to do that with Flash, I get that. Like, that's clearly what his point is going to be. I still want Grant Gustin. I want the CW. They did too good of a job that now whenever they use any of these characters in any of their DC movies, all I'm going to think of like, oh, it'd be better if they did it this way. But
yeah, I don't know. And have you seen it yet, Jason?
I have not.
Okay.
Oh, so, Jason Momoa is still a tool. I'm just going to say that too.
Oh, yeah.
Still a tool.
Anyway. And they also released a new Thor Ragnarok trailer, which I thought looked really good. It's got a super heavy Guardians vibe to it, I think that's kind of the way they're angling now with Thor, because the second Thor was terrible. Let's just call it probably the worst in the MCU at this point. But this movie looks fantastic. This has more Hulk in it talking. So I'm excited for it. I think it looks good. Yeah, I mean, Hulk is talking. It looks great. Watch that trailer. Looks really good. Did you watch it, Kevin?
I caught part of it. Okay. And what I saw I did like, but I agree 100%. The Guardians vibe is very strong. Even in the promotional artwork we're seeing, the poster that came out, it's very Guardians, which not a bad thing. And I get maybe that's where they're just going to take the MCU in space is going to be very Guardians. Just in general, maybe that's what they're going for. But I like it.
Did you see it, Jason?
I have not.
Okay, that's fine.
Strike two.
No, I know.
I was at my in-laws all weekend.
That's okay. You get a pass. I know neither of you saw this one, but they screened for the San Diego Comic-Con audience and haven't yet put it up online, but I saw an off-screen grab of the Avengers Ultimate Amazing Super Team-Up Show Infinity War. Because literally, it's like they haven't called it
Marvel. Everyone.
Yeah, everyone Marvel. But it literally showcases everybody that I could catch on the off-screen hit. So this is a massive movie just by looking at all the characters that are on screen doing things. But yeah, looking forward to that one. I think that it's got a great vibe in it. I think what's his name? What's the actor's name? His name is Chris. What's his last name?
Evans. Helmsworth.
Evans.
That's three. It's three. Three Chris
Evans is gunning for Jason's beard because he's growing a nice little beard.
Is he really?
Cap with a beard.
Cap on the run has a beard?
Well, it's like the thing going around, cap on a beard, don't take no So it looks pretty good. But something I know at least one of you saw, Stranger Things Season 2 trailer.
Yes, I did see that.
Yes, I saw it too.
Oh, Jason, tell me, what'd you think?
I can't wait for October. I mean, I felt that way already, but it just like my biggest concern with season 2 is like you've got a lot to live up with how season 1 came out of nowhere and was just so successful. Much like I think music, bands feel when you have this awesome album. It's like, oh, now you got to live up to it in this next one. So I mean, the stakes are a lot higher. I mean, Stranger Things came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I first saw, I even heard of it. I was at I don't remember what movie. I was at a movie theater and I saw a trailer for it. And I was like, they were like playing D&D and it was like 80s. Like, this is amazing. And then, the wife and I binged the entire thing in 2 days. But I've been interested to see what was going to happen. What are they going to tie in? Is the Upside Down going to still be there? What's, my only disappointment with the trailer is I wish they would have not shown 11 at all.
Yes. Yep.
I wish that would have been left for the series to reveal. I think they should have just hinted at her, but not shown her whatsoever. And maybe it's a red herring. Maybe we don't see that at all. I don't know, but it looked. Yeah. I'm very excited for season 2.
I'm with you. I liked it, and I said the same thing too. I was like, I almost wish they didn't show 11 because built it up for at least a couple episodes that she may or may not be coming back. Like, do at least something like the way it ended, and they kind of let that out of the bag there. But yeah, the trailer was amazing. But same exact concern as you. I was talking about that with over my family over dinner earlier. Was they have a lot to live up to it this season, and you can edit a trailer to make anything look good. So I'm still like, how are they going to capture that magic again? I'm hopeful they're going to do it, but yeah, I'm concerned about that as well. But it was amazing.
Who's I've been watching the Justice League trailer. Who's the big bad in this?
Steppenwolf.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to take you on a magic carpet ride.
I say, like, the band's going to come sing to me.
Yep.
There's an actual villain called Steppenwolf.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. It's not even a good villain. I don't know.
He's like a herald kind of for Apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
Not Apocalypse. Apocalypse is X-Men. Doomsday.
Darkseid.
Yes.
Darkseid. Wow, we're messed up all the We're the comic guys too. Wow.
So Steppenwolf was still a thing.
Yes. So yes.
Oh boy.
But yeah, it's to me. I hope it's a red herring here, where it's like he's the big bad, and it's like actually no, he's not. They wipe him out in like the first 30 minutes, and the real big bad's somebody better, because that is a terrible choice of main villain for
Guys,
me.
I want to keep giving DC a chance here, but
they're
making it hard for me.
They're not making it easy, and like I saw some people tweet out today like, "Oh, of course Wonder Woman's getting a sequel. It was an amazing movie." Blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, I get it. Totally, a lot of people loved Wonder Woman. They said it was a great movie. It's possibly the best DC movie. That's still not necessarily a good thing. Like, just because it's the best there doesn't mean it's up to the standard that Marvel has set for a lot of these movies.
I disagree with that statement, and you should listen to That's Entertaining, where I discussed Wonder Woman with our one and only Mr. Mo.
I will not
next year when I watch Wonder Woman, I'll go back and download it.
Same.
But
Same.
I wanted to mention on Stranger Things, since we were talking about that trailer.
Yes.
Loved the Dragon's Lair bit at the very beginning of it, and the 80s stuff. They're still holding that nostalgic feel, and with Ghostbusters and stuff, they got a pretty strong 80s.
And the Thriller soundtrack behind it, perfect.
That was the cherry on the cake, right? There's a great use of that soundtrack.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There were 2 more trailers. One I didn't see, which is The Defenders, which you could talk about, Ken, if you want to. But one I did see was the Ernie Klein classic movie that's being made into a movie, Ready Player One. Did either of you guys see the trailer?
I did not yet.
I did actually. I need to watch it again, but I did see it.
All right, Jason. Iron Giant, DeLoreans, Freddy, Duke Nukem, I think, was in there. Everything that you wanted, like from that nostalgic feel, was fantastic.
My only fear is it's going to be like too much of trying to do this, of smash everything into it, because it's either going to do it. It can go 2 ways. So anything can do it. Okay, just pull it off and it's going to be awesome, or it's just going to be like you feel like you're getting bombarded with too many references that it just is too much.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I've seen so far, though, I mean, I love like the stack. Looks like just how I pictured out of that book, out of the book.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be able to be a fun movie. You know,
it's definitely a trailer to watch slowly to try to pick up all the stuff.
I want to go back and kind of piece it apart a little bit further. It's just gonna be like I don't think it's going to be. And this is usually the case when you're going off a novel, but I don't think it's going to be dead on. But how much of a faithful adaptation will we see? And I think it's going to have it's going to be able to check all the boxes with what content it's going to be there to be a fun, entertaining movie.
It'll be entertaining, I hope. We'll see. Anyway, so Kevin, anything you want to mention?
The Defenders trailer was good. I did watch it because I did finally wrap up Iron Fist, which I took way too long to get through. Although I did take longer to get through Luke Cage than I did through Iron Fist. But I knew Defenders was coming and it's coming soon, so I wanted to get that done before it came out. Trailer's good. Didn't really show a whole heck of a lot of stuff we didn't know. They kind of become a team begrudgingly. They don't really like each other, so very much the dark vibe they've already established for each of these characters still seems to hold, as they don't really want to partner with each other, but they kind of are in a situation where they have to. Iron Fist seems a lot less whiny, which is good.
That's good. Very good.
Jessica Jones is just as drunk, which is awesome. And Sigourney Weaver apparently is the leader of the Hand, it seems like.
Oh.
So that's interesting that Sigourney Weaver's not being getting looped into the MCU. But
into the Netflix and MCU for all that too. She's like, she could be in any movie, but they put her in the Defenders.
Well, and here's the thing: is supposedly
Elektra's back. Oh.
Yeah, I don't want to. I deliberately left that out because I hated Elektra. That was the worst part of Daredevil season 2. But the clause in all their contracts though is that yes, they're on the Netflix MCU, but that MCU is also open to the movie deals, so they all can intertwine. Whether or not that happens in Infinity War at some point remains to be unseen, but that could slap in a line. But it looks promising. It looks to be just dark and gritty, more of what we've seen from all these shows. But for me, I was excited to see Jessica Jones again because I think that might have been my favorite series out of all these so far. So
looks way better than Inhumans.
Oh, that looks terrible. That looks so bad. That hair.
Yeah, the Medusa's hair. Oh. All right, so I think that's all we got for this evening, boys and girls, so thank you. But before we leave, we want to let you know where you can link up with us and maybe check out some of the stuff that we're working on. So, Jason.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at JW Lacey. I don't contribute anything to the PSVG website, at least
behind
right
the
now.
scenes. Behind the scenes,
yes, but content-wise, the well is pretty dry. Otherwise, I do this craptastic podcast you might have heard of called Fluxipose. Releases weekly when we feel like it, sometimes on Tuesday, sometimes by Friday. And
oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
I did not hit her. I did not. Why didn't we talk about that trailer? Come on.
We don't have enough time to talk about that trailer. Come on, that can go on for days.
That's true. So you can find that at Fluxipose, fluxipose.com, everywhere. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. Burr, 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 burr. Nathan.
I am on Twitter at Voiced by Nathan. You can find me there. And then, again, send me all your hate mail for my thoughts on Destiny 2 beta. So I also do a podcast called That's Entertaining. We just did our Spider-Man one at the beginning of this month, so that's our show for this month. And I, like Jason, am kind of like a puppet master behind the scenes at PSVG right now. I don't always make content, but when I do, it's terrible. So that's why I stay behind the scenes.
Well, all right. So to pick up the slack from these two, apparently,
Kevin does all the reviews lately.
Kevin does all the reviews. So I had 2 reviews come out last week, like I mentioned earlier, Serial Cleaner and Eye of Basir. This week, I do plan on having at least 2 more reviews. I'm trying to bang through this stuff to get more content out there. So check that on the website, and be on the lookout for new stuff this week as well. Hit up the website, playsomevideogames.com, youtube.com/playsomevideogames, facebook.com/playsomevideogames, Twitter at PSVG. Hit up the website, find us out on Discord. You can come join the community we have going on there to chat. It's kind of growing. We seem to got like at least another almost 10 people this week alone added to the group. So come join us. We're playing Splatoon. It's a pretty fun community. We kind of talk about gaming stuff and then kind of everything else that's going on. So it's a good time. I think that's it. Oh, you can find me on Twitter if you're interested at PSVG Kevin. If you want to come tweet at me and complain to me about how Nathan's opinions on Destiny 2 aren't right, you can feel free to do so as well. That's fine.
Just at him as well for any complaints, because basically they have to go through him anyway. So there you go.
That's true. That's true.
I I'm obligated to let him know any complaints that come on my way because this part of the contract negotiations. Because we were getting some pretty big complaints at one point about my stuff, so I have to send anything his way for complaints, so it can be on my performance review. Which, by the way, we're doing a performance review now.
Ooh.
By the way,
Okay,
Dang.
yeah, we'll get to that. There's gonna be some disciplinary action, I'm sure, followed online, but you know,
I'm going to leave.
Oh, but anyway, so that's it, boys and girls. Thank you again for joining us and sharing with a friend. Please give us your reviews on iTunes, on Facebook. You can find us kind of everywhere. We're pretty out there and involved. So thank you so much for listening in. But more importantly, above anything else, remember, boys and girls, to never stop gaming.